I'm going to talk about acoustics in this video. When I started the university, I was at a road junction. I was thinking either I go full-time music or I go the engineer track. So actually I applied to the musical university as well, and the technological university. But when I was at that junction many years ago, I still felt it inside me that technology has a small edge. Because I was blessed with a skill in mathematics and engineering. And I felt it would be a shame if I wouldn't put that one to really good use. Actually, when I was younger, I wasn't that rational. I always went with my gut feeling. If it felt good, I went for it. No second thoughts. And that has brought me up to where I am today. Even though in later years I have been forced to start to thinking a bit more before I decide. It has to do with you get a family and you have other people to consider than yourself. But before it was only me, and then it's easier to do this gut feeling thing. Anyhow, I started out in the university studying computer engineering because I thought that was my thing. And then in the physics class, everybody reads some basic physics as an engineer. I came into contact with acoustics and wave theory and sound, the propagation of sound for the first time. And I don't know why, but this idea just caught me. I couldn't let it go, and this is what I need to do with my life. I have to study acoustics and become very good at it. So I changed my program and started the engineering physics masters, and signed up for just about every acoustic course I could find. And ever since I've been on that path. It's been a very good red thread, the red line that I've been following. And I also, when I finished university, I started my PhD thesis program, and also I can tell you that it's acoustics in timber constructions. That's what I've been doing all the way from day one. And it's I've been paid to do it for the last 11 years also. So that's been my work, primary work. But when I did my PhD for 2 years, a little more, 2.5, I felt that this is, I don't really know what I'm going to do with this research because I didn't have work experience. So I quit and went out and worked as a consultant for a couple of years to understand the real world and what's the research that we produce, how is it going to be used. And then now I know what I'm supposed to do. And then I got back into the university and continued and finished my PhD in acoustics. And that was in 2017 I finished. And now we have a very interesting moment in time, because the United Nations has calculated that in 2050 another 2.5 billion people are going to move into cities worldwide with the ongoing urbanization. You can't handle these kinds of numbers. So let me put it in another way. Every single day for the coming 40 years, we need to build 14,000 new apartments worldwide. Another way of looking at this is that we have to do as much building as has taken place from the beginning of time up until today. We have to do it all again in 40 years. That is the global demand. Then you have the climate question in combination with this extreme demand. The construction industry releases a huge amount of CO2. And by shifting from concrete, which is the norm today, to timber constructions instead, we can make some pretty significant reductions in emissions. And this is my specialty, acoustics in wooden buildings. And another thing that clicked for me, actually it's less than 1 year ago when it clicked. It's in the same process as when I decided to pull the trigger and start a business. Wooden buildings are basically the same thing as musical instruments. If you look at the old luthiers who constructed the violins and the old guitars, I mean, these guys, they knew. We've known for 500 years how we should refine wood so that it produces as much sound as possible, which is the purpose of a musical instrument. I am a musician. I love music. I understand these things. It's like an elongation of my body and my mind is integrated in the musical instrument. So I know this. And then a friend of mine who constructs guitars told me that, planted this idea. What if we could use the same knowledge that the luthiers have been using for 500 years, and we do it the other way around? We just do the complete opposite. Then you will get the best possible timber construction. Because the purpose of a construction in a building is to produce as little sound as possible. And I realize, I think I have something here that I need to bring to the world. Acoustics in wooden constructions. And I don't think that my current situation is the optimal one. I work as a consultant and I sell my clock hours to give advice to different clients to help them build nice buildings. But the day only has 24 hours and I can only sell so many hours before the time runs out. And with this huge demand from the market to shift to a sustainable building with the climate issue, we need to move much faster. I have to find a way to scale this business idea. I can't work with one client at a time. I need to get it out there on the internet and use it as leverage. I want to share what I know, what I've learned from all these years, from all my research. I want to share it with you. I want to help everybody to construct better buildings, because I love the saying, a rising tide raises all ships. And I think it's the same with knowledge. If I share my knowledge, I'm going to lift everyone. And I think that's the best for humankind. And I believe that is my purpose. That's what God put me on this earth to do. If you recall my first 3 videos and what I've talked about in those. Thank you.